Hi, everyone. Lewis here. I've just been to the cinema, the Imax cinema specifically, to see the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. Um, and it's been out for about a week. I haven't been in a rush to see it because, I wait till it quiets down a bit because it's a big film. And, rightly so. It's been about 5 years since the last Bond film, I think, possibly six. And obviously, this one got delayed and that for obvious reasons. But it's finally come out now. And I thought, as I said before, I'm still wary about, the obvious thing, so I'll go when it's in kind of the lunchtime and when it's not busy in an IMAX room when it's quite big, so it worked out nicely. Historically speaking, I'm a Bond fan. Not so much these days. I liked them when I was a kid. I like the Roger Moore ones the best, and more recently, sort of Pierce Brosnan ones I wasn't that fussed about, and the Daniel Craig ones I've been to see the last three now, and I like them, but I haven't, I don't go out of my way to watch them. So I saw Spectre at the cinema, the previous one, which again was, I think it was 2015. I could be wrong, could have been more recent than that, but a while ago, and I haven't really watched it since. So going into this, I didn't really watch it, and I was kind of like, I can vaguely remember enough of what happened, kind of thing. I remember the relationship between Daniel Craig's Bond and Leah Seydoux' character, Madeline, I think her name is. I think that's how you pronounce it. I remember just kind of thinking I wasn't really that fussed about their relationship and just in general. So I just thought, I know that's going to be kind of part of this, but I thought I'll go in, I'll enjoy it. And yeah, I did enjoy it. It's very long, and I don't mind a long film. This is like 2 hours 43 minutes, I think, somewhere around that sort of 2:45 mark, which is fine because I can do long films, no problem. But the only issue I had with this was, around sort of hour and a half, 2 hours in, I kind of got a bit fed up with kind of the action of it. I mean, the action stuff was great, but you can only take so much of that, really. It's kind of, you can only take so much of the car chases and shooting and stuff like that, and I was kind of going, okay, I'm kind of over this now. But ultimately, I found it came together in quite a satisfying way and quite a good way. I quite liked it overall. Looking back, like I say, there were points where I was kind of going, okay, I'm kind of, this is done for me now. I could have done with this being about 2 hours. Not that there's anything I could say that, they could have cut that out, because it all works pretty well. But like I say, ultimately I think it came together quite well. Obviously no spoilers in this, I haven't said that yet, but I'll put it in the title thingy. But yeah, and I will say this is an exceptionally well made film, as you'd expect, and it manages to have a lot of the hallmarks of a Bond film without getting too much caught up in cliches and stuff like that. The general attitude towards the character has changed quite a bit in recent years, because the world is a lot different in regards to many things as it was in the 1960s when the Bond films first started, and they do a good job of that. They kind of his attitude towards women is a lot better, especially, which isn't hard in comparison to some of the older films. But back then people went, oh, that's Bond, and now it's like, no, to be fair, that wouldn't really fly these days, which is a good thing. But yeah, so in terms of the actual character, I found it worked really well. But let's say overall, from a cinematic point of view, from an action point of view, from the sound especially, I saw it in IMAX, everything was big and loud. Even at some points I was kind of going, alright, this is too much for me now. I mean, I know I brought it on myself by going IMAX because I like it because it's big and loud, but after the fifth car chase shooty, I was like, oh my god, just give me a break. Like that was the only thing. Like, normally in these films you get the big action scene, and then there's a little bit where it kind of quiets down a little bit, and then there's another big action scene, but I felt like there wasn't much gap in between it and this one, which is fine, but because people probably complain about the more story building bits and stuff like that, but it's, yeah, for me, I could have done with a bit more of a break, but then I'm old now, so who cares. But yeah, and I even found the bits in between, because like I said, I wasn't that bothered about the relationship between Bond and Madeline, but even those bits didn't outstay their welcome. They were done very well, and they added to my overall feeling of the film when everything kind of culminates, which I thought was quite good. So yeah, overall, very, very well made film, as you'd expect. I think, like I say, the emotional side of the story was good, but I think the main sort of villain plot thing was just kind of pretty standard. Like, it ties in with a few of the bits, like, it's quite intricately done, interwoven and stuff like that, but the general thing was just, it was just your classic Bond plot of bad guy has weapon, and etc, etc. So that was kind of, kind of standard, but not in a bad way. It got from A to B as such, so it's, it's pretty solid overall. But yeah, I think the cast was a real standout. Obviously, I like Daniel Craig as Bond. He's a bit more straight-laced and a bit more serious than sort of Bonds have been in the past, and his relationship with Madeline Swan, I think her name is. But they introduced a few other female characters, and it was done really well. I don't want to harp on about it too much, because I feel like it's taken quite a big step in towards having like female characters being kind of on an equal playing field to the male characters, which is really good. But the bigger a deal you make about it, the less it means, in a sense, because it should be done in a way that's just kind of, they're just part of it. It's not like here's the woman. It's just like, this character's here, she's a woman, but that's that's it. That's all it is. And I think they did that really well. Like the woman who was taken over as 007, Tashana Lynch, I think the actress is called. She was really good. She was just confident, self-assured, really tough character, like really good. Ana de Armas plays a CIA agent in it, and she's only in it for one scene, which isn't a spoiler, but she's in the trailer and that, and I'm thinking she's the perfect like Bond woman kind of thing, and like she's only in one scene and she's fantastic in this one short scene, and like but I mean, she was probably my favourite thing about the movie. She was great, but I was like, oh, she's not going to come back now. But then but I was hoping they would kind of do that. But yeah, she was fantastic. Rami Malek plays the main sort of villain, and he's really good because he's a great actor anyway, and he has a few scenes that are like really kind, like I say, the villain's plan isn't anything spectacular, but he has quite a few sort of almost monologue like scenes that are really, really good, and he does that sort of thing quite well. I think this film, there's a couple of instances of this in kind of an old Bond trope, which I think has become more of a thing in recent years that people have picked up on, that probably does need to have its day now, is that any character with like some kind of facial scarring or anything kind of going on there is automatically a bad person. And I feel like that's been a thing that these films have done for too long, and I think it probably is quite, in a sense, it probably is kind of outdated. It's like, there's probably a lot of people in the world who do have, scars on their face and stuff like that. I've got scars on my body, but not on my face. Well, I've got some on my head, but I just think like that's probably quite a negative stereotype that people could do without. But that's not a complaint. I just think they should probably go, yeah, do you know what, in the future we'll just not do that. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. Probably a little bit too long for me personally in terms of the action scenes and that, because about 2 hours of an action film is probably all I can take really. But I enjoyed it overall. I felt like it concluded Daniel Craig's run as Bond in a very satisfactory way. But yeah, not a bad way to spend a few hours. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. That's my opinion. Great.